Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with, once again, that article from the ADL is who is funding U.S. anti-Israel groups from 9/26, September 26th. And we're going to skip down, as I said, we've already covered parts 1 and 2 yesterday. Today is going to be parts 3 and 4, which is the longer one. I know yesterday's video is a little short of 20 minutes. This one's probably going to be a little bit longer. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and dive right into it. So if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please go and do that. Though I guess you don't really need to listen to part 2, but I would appreciate it if you did go ahead and listen to part 1 before you listen to part 2. So let's go ahead and pick up where we left off with part 3 of this particular article, which is Other Funders of National Anti-Israel Organizations 2022 to 2024. So we're going to start with this is going to be a tough one, Befreiung Fund. The Befreiung Fund is a New York City based private grant-making foundation. I cannot talk right now, and I'm recording this right after I finished the video from yesterday, so apparently my speech skills have diminished. I'm going to start that sentence over. It says the Befreiung Fund is a New York City-based private grant-making foundation, there we go, that makes the bulk of its large contributions to progressive organizations, including PYM, to which it gave $20,000 in 2022 and in 2023, according to tax documents. Established in 2018, the fund is run by Rachel Gelman, a descendant of clothing manufacturer Levi Strauss. It's amazing how many of these descendants of titans of industry in the United States, or just people you've heard of, are progressives. Anyway, one thing I did want to mention before I go on to the next one here is if there's any abbreviations here that are not going to be spelled out that would have been in yesterday's video, just do the find function and type in PYM so it takes you eventually to what's it called? Sorry, right click there. So it takes you to the actual group and what that name is, because I don't remember off the top of my head already, even though, like I said, I'm recording this right after yesterday's video. So just go ahead and do that. It's just be a little easier. So let's just keep going here. So next one is Borealis Philanthropy. It says Borealis Philanthropy is a social justice philanthropic intermediary that connects funders and organizers of grassroots movements. Apparently, the first sentence of every section here I can't seem to read properly. As it reportedly gave dissenters, a national organization focused on direct actions and a key organizer of anti-Israel events on U.S. campuses, an unspecified amount for 2024, though it is described in the funding announcement as between $25,000 and $50,000. Borealis Philanthropy directs 9 funds that work on a range of issues, including Black-led movement work, disability inclusion and justice, uplifting the dignity and respect of queer and trans communities, and more. In 2022, the Borealis Philanthropy received $2.1 million from the Amalgamated Charitable Foundation, a major philanthropic organization based in Washington, D.C., that dispenses funding through a donor-advised fund for project support, according to tax documents from that year. So, why are you guys involved in the whole Israel thing? It doesn't seem like you're you'd have anything to do with that, but okay, whatever. On to the next one. Emergent Fund. It says the Emergent Fund is a national rapid response fund created to support social justice movements led by Black, Indigenous, and people of color-led or BIPOC. It was founded in 2016 by the Women Donors Network, Solidaire Network, not solitaire like the card game, Solidaire with a D, and other organizations, and is a fiscally sponsored project of the Amalgamated Foundation. In its 2023 end-of-year newsletter, the Emergent Fund claimed it showed up for Palestinian, Muslim, and Jewish organizers demanding ceasefire now, or hashtag, I should say, ceasefire now, with over $330,000 to mobilize thousands of protesters, shutting down business as usual. By April 2024, the Emergent Fund executive director and deputy director claimed in an article that the number rose to $500,000. Grantees listed for October and November 2023 were Palestine Legal, National SJP, PYM, JVP, the Palestine Feminist Collective, and Dissenters. And again, all those abbreviations do the find function to figure out what those are, because they were defined in yesterday's video at the beginning, or, just go ahead and search on here instead of necessarily listening to the video just to find that out. It says the individual amounts to these groups were not specified, though the fund claims $260,000 were dispersed in October and $250,000 in November. The Emergent Fund claims to rely on small dollar donors, but also receives support from the Libra Foundation, a major philanthropic organization founded by the Pritzker family. Oh, that's my governor and heirs to the Hyatt hotel groups. Again, Titans of industry descendants that are progressives. It just seems to be a thing. Same with Disney too. It says the Akanati Foundation, the Novo Foundation, a private foundation set up and run by Peter Buffett, the son of philanthropist Warren Buffett. Once again, I restate my prior point about the descendants of Titans of industry, and donor networks including Threshold Foundation, Donors of Color Network, and Resource Generation. So it's like all of our Titans of industry have turned into people that are like just anti-Semites, I guess, or anti-Israel. Crazy. Is it pronounced Cataly? So it's the Cataly Foundation. So it says the Cataly Foundation is a left-wing grant-making organization founded by a member of the billionaire Pritzker family, whose parents founded the Libra Foundation that we just mentioned a minute ago, that in 2023 gave one-time donations to JVP, that was 50 grand, PYM, 30 grand, and CARE, which is an abbreviation you should definitely know, or they gave them 120 grand according to its grantees list. Based in California's Bay Area, the Cataly Foundation's mission is to support the economic, political, and cultural power of Black and Indigenous communities and all communities of color. The Kiblawi Foundation, I think it should be called the Kablooey Foundation. That's what it made me think of. Anyway, it says the Kiblawi Foundation is a 501c3 registered private family charity that says it primarily supports educational and cultural programs for Palestinian youth in the refugee camps of Lebanon and Palestine, as well as several Palestine solidarity groups in the U.S. According to 2023 tax filings, the foundation gave $300 to JVP, $500 to anti-Israel site Mondoweiss. I've heard of that, but I couldn't. What is it? Just an anti-Israel site? I've heard of them, but I couldn't tell you what they do. $2,000 to USPCR and $10,000 to Palestine Legal. It gave National SJP $500 in 2022 via Westpac, and the foundation is based in Great Falls, Virginia. And the Yusufani Family Foundation. So the Yusufani Family Foundation is a small family foundation based in Austin, Texas, that has provided funding to groups like JVP, AMP, and the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or USCPR. So there's an abbreviation we finally got. Because in 2023, according to tax records, the foundation gave $55,000 to American Muslims for Palestine. Okay, so that's what AMP is. I don't know why they would put that down here after already having the abbreviation, but you should probably switch those around there. $55,000 to the Americans for Justice in Palestine, or AJP, Educational Foundation, also AMP's fiscal sponsor, $55,000 to JVP, $55,000 to USPCR, and $20,000 to CARE. Then we have the North Star Fund. The North Star Fund is a grant-making social justice fund that supports grassroots organizing led by communities of color, building power in New York City and the Hudson Valley. What does that mean, building power? It's social justice language, but it's nonsense too. Anyway, it was founded in 1979, is a fixture of the New York City area progressive fundraising space. It offers grants as well as funds through donor-advised funds. In 2023, Palestine Legal received an unknown sum from the anti-Israel Sagner Family Foundation, DAF, by way of the North Star Fund. According to a 2021 and 2022 fiscal year action report, Westpac, PACB, PYM, and the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, or USPCN, a radical anti-Israel activist group, received funds from the North Star Fund for unknown amounts from the organization's Community Support Fund. Palestine Legal and Mondoweiss received support from the Sagner Family Foundation, according to this report. In 2020 to 2021 fiscal year, the Sagner Family Foundation, through the North Star Fund, reportedly gave an unknown amount to JVP as well, according to their annual report. North Star Fund partners with the Amalgamated Foundation, which provides administrative record-keeping and fund management, and the minimum amount required to open a donor-advised fund with North Star Fund is $1,000. Then we have the Sparkplug Foundation, named after the Transformers character. No, I'm kidding. So the Sparkplug Foundation is a progressive grant-making organization founded in 2003 that it prioritizes funding for startup progressive nonprofits and fiscally sponsored projects. Historically, it has given thousands to anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, and coexistence groups, both based in the U.S. and Israel, according to a past grants page on its site that is no longer active. That's interesting, but okay. Because in 2021 and 2019, you should probably reverse those 2 years and the dollar amounts, guys. Editing kind of seems to have gone lax here a little bit. So in 2021 and 2019, the foundation gave dissenters $27,000 and $12,000 respectively, according to its grantees list and tax documents. In 2022, it gave National SJP $20,000, and in 2021, it gave USPCN $10,000 for its advocacy and education efforts for 2 activists in Israeli jails, according to tax documents. In 2018, USPCN received $10,000 for its Youth Development Leadership Initiative. Then we have the Solidaire Network with a D, not with a T, not solitaire, Solidaire. So the Solidaire Network is a donor group founded in 2013 that funds social and racial justice movements, because of course they do. We're seeing a pattern. So according to a year-end report, it gave to dissenters, the Palestinian Feminist Collective, PYM, and Palestine Legal, using a fund established in November 2023 as a one-time emergency funding vehicle launched by our members in response to the genocide in Palestine. If only there was a genocide in Palestine. Shows how informed you guys are, because there isn't one. Its sister organization, Solidarity Action, works for Jewish Voice for Peace Action, JVP's 501c4 advocacy organization, and U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights Action, USCPR's advocacy organization. Solidarity Action is a fiscally sponsored project of Tides Advocacy, a part of the broader Tides Network. In 2022, Solidarity Network received over $900,000 from the Amalgamated Charitable Foundation, according to tax filings. Prior to 2020, Solidarity Network was also fiscally sponsored by Tides Advocacy. Speaking of Tides, we have Tides Nexus. So it says the Tides Nexus is a collection of related left-of-center grant-making, fiscal sponsorship, and advocacy nonprofits headquartered in San Francisco, California, founded in 1976 by philanthropist and progressive political activist Drummond Pike. I do not know who that is. Not sure if I should know who that is. It says within the network, the Tides Foundation is a donor-advised fund that finances a variety of left-wing causes across the U.S. The Tides Center offers a comprehensive suite of fiscal sponsorship arrangements. Many of its fiscal sponsored projects receive grants from the Tides Foundation. Tides Advocacy is an affiliate of Tides that fiscally sponsors projects focusing on democracy, equality and human rights, health and the environment, and shared prosperity. In 2022, the Tides Foundation gave Jewish Voice for Peace $61,000, according to tax filings. Westpac received $97,000 from the Tides Foundation for Healthy Individuals and Communities, and $35,000 from the Tides Center for Equity, Human Rights, and Economic Empowerment that same year. So communist stuff, hence the word equity, and then economic empowerment. What does that even mean? In 2022, the Tides Foundation reported total assets of, let's see here, this is a little $978.5 million in total giving of, well, that's the first first three numbers there. 666 point, let's go with rounded up to $0.8 million. In the same year, Tides Center reported total assets of $431.5 million in total giving of just slightly under $206 million. Oh boy, keep going. This is the Third Wave Fund. So the Third Wave Fund is a feminist activist organization founded in 1996 that supports gender justice movement building across the U.S. Okay. So in November 2023, according to their April 2024 grantees announcement, the fund reportedly gave dissenters an unspecified amount to help provide safety and security measures among their membership as part of their organizing to free Palestine, to free Palestine from Hamas. And also, Palestine's never existed, so can you free a place that's never actually existed? Additionally, in November 2023, according to that April 2024 grantees announcement, Palestine Feminist Collective, which is just the oddest name for a group supporting Palestine, also reportedly received an unknown amount to support their rapid response work for Free Palestine teach-ins and actions. The grantee announcement also indicated that the organization had given money in March 2024 to Nevadans for Palestinian Liberation and Fifth Sun Project to support their direct actions and a show in support of Palestinian liberation. The specific Third Wave Fund grant-making program these organizations received funds, the Mobilized Power Fund, offers grants up to $10,000. Dissenters previously received a reported $10,000 from the Third Wave Fund in 2020. And the fund is fiscally sponsored by the Proteus Fund and specifically seeks to resource grassroots movements that are 1, multi-issue, 2, community-led, and 3, unapologetically queer, trans, intersex, and sex worker-led. Okay, so prostitutes. Hookers is what they say. So, like, what group was this? Third Wave Fund? It's all fine, good and fine, and then in the end, you're just like, oh, okay, progressive, far left group, and it's just, okay. So then we have Resist Incorporated. Resist Incorporated is progressive, of course. They are an anti-war funding organization founded in 1967 in response to the Vietnam War to support and promote resistance to the draft and the war. Guys, going to be the bearer of bad news here, just to let you know that that war ended about 50 years ago. So, yeah. As it claims to have granted more than $7 million over the course of its existence to over 5,000 dedicated groups across the United States. In a 2023 newsletter, Resist announced that it had dispersed an unspecified amount to PYM, National SJP, WOL, and the Palestinian Feminist Collective. And in 2022, Resist reported total assets of $15.7 million and total giving of $2.2 million. And Woods Fund of Chicago, oh boy, my home city. It says the Woods Fund is a private Chicago-based foundation set up in 1993 to fund projects that fight the brutality of poverty and structural racism, which isn't the thing. It's another conversation for another video. Because in 2024, in a 2024 grantee listing, the Woods Fund said it dispersed $50,000 of a 3-year, $150,000 grant to dissenters in 2024. Additionally, according to a grantee listing, the fund gave dissenters $35,000 per year between 2022 to 2023. A 2021 tax document shows that the organization gave dissenters $45,000. And it says community-based funders of local anti-Israel groups and chapters. So it says community-based funding organizations were also sources of funding to locally based anti-Israel projects. Minneapolis-based Headwaters Foundation for Justice, a community foundation that focuses on funding groups led by and for Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color in Minnesota, said in a December 2023 grant announcement, it had reportedly made rapid response grants of $25,000 each in 2023 to American Muslims in Palestine, Minnesota Students, Palestine, I'm going to say Minnesota Students for Justice in Palestine, Minnesota, oh, I see what they're doing, and Jewish Voices for Peace, Twin Cities is the name of the group. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, why are the states suddenly there? And it also donated $25,000 to MISNA, an arts organization focused on Arab, Southwest Asian, and North African, SWANA, or I guess we'll call it SWANA if that abbreviation pops up anymore. It says artist that also endorses the cultural boycott of Israel in that same rapid response grant cycle. Independence Public Media Foundation, an organization focused on accurately representing BIPOC and other marginalized communities in Philadelphia, announced in 2023 end-of-the-year letter that it gave the Philly Palestine Coalition $25,000 to support the coalition's media organizing, which focuses on countering harmful mainstream narratives of Palestine through different means of media, and the Palestine Rights Literature Festival $9,500 in 2023, according to a grantees list. Deep breath. And then this is the Northern California War Tax Resistance, or NCWTR. This is an organization that provides resources for tax resistors in Northern California. I don't have a problem with you resisting taxes. That's fine. Taxation is theft. This gave an unknown amount to a graduate student arm of SJP at UC Berkeley in 2024, according to a grantee list. And then some of the recipients. And I said in the video that for you guys listening was yesterday. For me, it was like 20 minutes ago. About CARE, which I think we're about to find out is pretty closely aligned with actual terrorist groups. So it says the Council on American Islamic Relations, or again CARE, C-A-R, is a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit organization that seeks to position itself as the leading American Muslim civil rights organization in the U.S. So basically the NAACP, but for Muslims. It says founded in 1994, the organization ostensibly focuses on responding to the proliferation of anti-Muslim incidents and sentiment nationwide, but key CARE leaders often traffic in openly anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist rhetoric. Yes, they have. See some of the responses to what happened on October 7th, and there you go. So some of CARE's leaders were previously involved in a now-defunct organization that openly supported Hamas, and there's the terrorist adjacency I was referring to. This, according to the U.S. government, functioned as its propaganda apparatus. So these... well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't pretty good people if you're openly supporting terror groups. This following Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel, many of CARE's leaders defended or justified the unprecedented terror assault and argued it was a legitimate right of Palestinians to resist the occupation of an occupation that isn't actually happening, because you can't be occupying land. Like, I guess, what's the way to put it? Israel isn't, you can't occupy, I guess... it's going to sound stupid. You can't occupy your own land. It's like me, where I am right now. Like, this is mine. I'm here. This is, I guess I am occupying it, but I think you know what I mean. Like, in a sense that, like, another group just can't come in and go, you're occupying our stuff. And it's like, well, no, I was here first. I was here long before you came in. But again, another video for another thing. We're going to go on to something else. So we have dissenters. And I saw these guys mentioned a few times here. They were mentioned in yesterday's video as well. In fact, all the way at the very top, there's like kind of a chart that you can go look at as well. And they're on there. And I was saying in the other video that I'd never heard of these guys before. Let's see who they are. It says Dissenters is a self-described new national movement organization that is leading our generation to reclaim our resources from the war industry, reinvest in life-giving institutions, and repair collaborative relationships with the earth and people around the world. So they're basically like climate change people. And now that I said that magic phrase, probably going to see a wiki note on this video. But anyway, this formally launched in January 2020. The organization has seen the rapid emergence of new chapters around the U.S. with a focus on direct actions. Around the U.S., okay, so that's another sentence. With a focus on direct actions, the group has become a key organizer of anti-Israel events on these campuses. And then Jewish Voice for Peace, JVP, is a radical anti-Israel and anti-Zionist activist group that advocates for the boycott of Israel and the eradication of Zionism. Good luck with that. The eradication of Zionism basically means, like, you know, what the Germans did during World War II. So who's doing a genocide? You guys want to look that up? I mean, you're not doing it, but you're kind of advocating for it here. Anyway, it says JVP does not represent mainstream Jewish community, which it views as bigoted for its association with Israel. Yeah, that's not how that works. It says JVP's staunch anti-Zionist positions place it squarely in opposition to mainstream American Jews and Jews worldwide, most of whom view a connection with Israel as an integral part of their social, cultural, or religious Jewish identities. JVP promulgates the view that Jews who identify even tangentially with Israel are motivated by white supremacy. Jesus Christ, you people are stupid. Jewish racial chauvinism and religious supremacism. Okay, so these are people that are just stupid. And why they have any power at all is beyond me. But these are dumb people. Okay, so I'm not even going to go into this again. Another video about this last sentence here, motivated by white supremacy. Okay, sure. Do you guys know what those words mean? Anyway, so then we have National Students for Justice in Palestine. So Students for Justice in Palestine, or SJP, refers to a network of anti-Zionist student groups on U.S. university campuses that has justified terror attacks against Israel, particularly the Hamas-led October 7th onslaught, engages in anti-Semitic rhetoric and propaganda, and is the leading campus organizer of the BDS, or Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions campaigns, and anti-Israel protests on university campuses. It has been a central organizing node for the student encampments that proliferated across American universities and colleges in the spring and summer of 2024 amid a surge in anti-Semitic activity and sentiment on U.S. college campuses. SJP refers to both individual campus chapters and to national SJP or NSJP. And yeah, there's a bunch of colleges that I saw that actually banned this group from their campuses because of how radical they were. So again, not particularly good people. And they get funding, I think, from CARE. So yeah, again, not good people aligned with not good people. And understand, I'm saying they're not good people because of the things that they're advocating for, not because of Islamophobic reasons, if you will. I could give a shit if they're Muslim. They just happen to be that. It's incidental. Even though a lot of these people protesting are not actually Muslim, but anyway, or Arab for that matter. It says Palestine Legal. So Palestine Legal is perhaps one of the most visible legal assistance organizations in the campus space. It provides legal aid and resources to students and community members who feel they have been persecuted for their Palestine advocacy. No, you can advocate for Palestinians, it's totally fine, but you don't need to say that we need to be rid of Jews in order to advocate for this. So, continuing, it says, this ranges from pro-Palestinian solidarity to engaging in outright anti-Semitism. The organization has represented students in court and before various government agencies. Palestine Legal also offers a variety of Know Your Rights sessions on campus, which offer objectively useful overviews of student rights on campus. It also has a toolkit with a variety of resources for what to do if one is harassed or attacked for Palestinian advocacy. Where are you actually seeing that, though? I mean, like, I understand what they're doing, but it's like, where are you seeing that? You're just seeing Jews being harassed. You're not seeing Palestinians being harassed. So it says, while not inherently problematic, these activities demonstrate that Palestine Legal is another node in the broader support network for Palestine activism on campus. Then we have Samidoun, who is, I don't think mentioned in this video until now, but was fairly prominent in yesterday's video. So it says Samidoun, derived from the Arabic word for steadfast, is a self-described solidarity network for Palestinian inmates in Israeli prisons. The group emerged in 2011 following a coordinated hunger strike by Palestinian prisoners led by the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, or PFLP, a designated terror group in the U.S., Israel, Canada, the UK, and the European Union. In 2021, Israel designated Samidoun a terror organization and arm of the PFLP. Germany banned Samidoun's operations in October 2023 following the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel. Well, go Germany. Samidoun's leadership is based in Vancouver, Canada, and it maintains chapters in the U.S., Europe, Iran, and Brazil. Ascertaining its funding sources through public records in the U.S. is difficult. The group is blocked from accepting donations through some major credit card and financial services companies because they realize that, again, they're a terror-designated group. Sam Madoun praised the October 7th attack and openly engages in support of terrorism and armed resistance. It co-organizes and co-sponsors anti-Israel events in the U.S. and Canada. And we're almost done, guys. I think it's probably been at least 20 minutes, so we're almost there. I can see where the cursor is down here. So we have the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or the USPCR. It says the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or again, USCPR. U.S. Campaign for Palestinian. Okay, so they effed up the abbreviation here. So it's the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Yeah, USCPR. That's what I've been calling them the whole time. Okay, so again, editing to the ADL folks. So this group aims to provide resources and strategic support to the U.S.-based Palestine Solidarity Movement. It is most widely known for its leadership in the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, or BDS movement, and is the fiscal sponsor of the Palestinian BDS National Committee, or BNC. Yeah, we don't have to keep abbreviating the BDS thing. You can just say BDS. Once you've given the definition of what it is with the abbreviation, you can just use the abbreviation from then on. It just gets annoying to have to keep saying, oh, that's what that means. People at this point are probably like, hey, yeah, we know. Anyway, so since the October 7th Hamas-led attack, USCPR has sponsored and co-sponsored several protests and rallies featuring concerning rhetoric, such as comparisons between Israel and Nazi Germany, equating Zionism with fascism and white supremacy and glorification of the Intifada. So these are, again, stupid people that don't know what any of those words mean. This is one of USCPR's main post 10-7 stated objectives is to disrupt political events featuring pro-Israel actors. In February 2024, USCPR distributed a guide to escalating to campaign event disruptions, which claimed that no justice in Palestine equals no peace for politicians. So it's like interfering on people's First Amendment rights, I would say. But again, not a lawyer, probably isn't really anything. So it's founded in 2001 as the U.S. campaign to end the Israeli occupation, which, again, there isn't an occupation. It changed its name to USCPR in 2016. So, again, another wonderful group of people. Then we have the United States Palestinian Community Network, or US. Let's see if they abbreviate it right here. Palestinian Community Network. They did, or USPCN, is a prominent and radical anti-Israel activist group founded in 2006 that has, on numerous occasions, expressed support for terror and promoted anti-Semitic tropes. The organization has chapters and members across the country, including in Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Los Angeles, and the Bay Area, and they oppose normalization of any kind of Israel or Zionists. Well, those are almost interchangeable terms, or things, I would say. Anyway, it says their activists range from co-hosting rallies and demonstrations to social media, persuasion campaigns, and boycott campaigns. USPCN often partners with a variety of other anti-Zionist organizations, including Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, there didn't need to be a comma here, and Jewish Voice for Peace, or JVP, for events and campaigns. And again, once you've defined them in one place, guys, you don't need to keep doing keep defining them every other time after that. Just use the abbreviations. It's getting annoyed. That's why I'm glad we're almost done. So after greater scrutiny was paid to the connection between them and their fiscal sponsor, Westpac, or the fiscal sponsor is Westpac. Okay, USPCN changes donations options to go through a Venmo account in lieu of a donations page. So they're trying to avoid something. And oh God, we are at the bottom. Deep breath. All right, we're there. It says within our lifetime, or WOL, says they're a New York-based radical anti-Israel organization that routinely expresses support for violence against Israel and calls for the abolition of Zionism. Yeah, so these guys are it seems like the farthest to the left that all these groups are. So since Hamas's brutal terror massacre on October 7th, 2023, WOL and its co-founder and leader Nardine Kiswani have continued to share extreme anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic positions on social media and at anti-Israel protests, as well as in webinars and reports. Some of the most heinous anti-Semitic rhetoric and incidents seen in New York City since October 7th have been perpetrated by WOL supporters and members. And of course, they're not going to be charged with anything because New York City sucks in prosecuting anybody, which is why they have problems. So we are done. Between yesterday's video and today, it's probably going to end up being about 45 minutes of this, so I appreciate you letting me drone on about this, but I think it's worth getting out there, and I'm going to go all the way back to the top. Just who's funding these U.S. anti-Israel groups. If these people are engaged in illegal activity, they need to be stopped. But it doesn't seem like anybody has the balls to do it because there's probably going to be shouts of Islamophobia instead of, no, you guys are committing crimes and you're helping other groups commit crimes. That is illegal. Anyway, I'm done. Let me know what you think about this this video, and of course, if you listen to yesterday's video, this one, let me know in both of them what you think about these. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.